What's up, everyone? Today we're uncovering 10 American cities that have literally vanished from the map. These aren't tiny villages, these were thriving towns, now erased by fire, flood, or human disaster. We'll dig into the wildest stories. Towns burning for decades, cities drowned, and places wiped out overnight. Why did thousands abandon their homes? What really happened? Let's find out. If you think a town burning for 60 years is wild, hit that like button and subscribe for more insane adventures. Let's dive in! First stop, Centralia, Pennsylvania. Imagine a fire burning under your town for over 60 years. In 1962, a landfill fire ignited a coal seam beneath Centralia. The fire spread through underground tunnels, heating the ground and releasing toxic gases. Roads buckled, sinkholes opened, and smoke poured from the earth. It was a real-life horror story. Residents tried everything to stop it, but nothing worked. By the 1980s, the government declared the town uninhabitable and bought out nearly everyone. Families left behind generations of memories forced out by an invisible, unstoppable inferno. Today, Centralia is almost entirely gone, just empty streets, overgrown lots, and steam rising from cracks in the ground. A handful of people refuse to leave, living in a town that officially doesn't exist. The fire is expected to burn for centuries, making Centralia a haunting warning about the consequences of human mistakes. Walking here, you can still feel the heat beneath your feet. Centralia is a chilling reminder. Some disasters never end, and this is just the beginning. Wait until you see what's next. Next, we head to Cahaba, Alabama, once the state capital, now a forgotten ruin. Built at the meeting of two rivers, Cahaba was a booming city in the 1820s, but its location was its downfall. Massive floods repeatedly submerged the city, including one that forced lawmakers to escape by rowboat. The government moved the capital, and Cahaba quickly emptied out. The Civil War and more floods sealed its fate. Buildings were dismantled, and nature took over. For decades, it was just ruins hidden in the woods. Today it's an archaeological park, crumbling columns, old cemeteries, and ghostly streets. Cahaba is a powerful reminder. Even the most important cities can vanish when nature takes over. Sometimes the land wins, on to the next lost city. Now, let's travel to Bodie, California, a gold rush boomtown frozen in time. In the late 1800s, Bodie exploded with gold seekers, growing to nearly 10,000 people. It was wild, dangerous, and full of saloons and gunfights. But when the gold ran out, people left as quickly as they came. A devastating fire in 1932 finished the job, and Bodie was abandoned. What makes Bodie unique? It wasn't destroyed or rebuilt, it was simply left behind. The dry desert preserved everything: school books on desks, tables set for dinner, stores still stocked. Today, Bodie is a state historic park, kept exactly as it was found. Walking through, it feels like the people just stepped out for a moment. Bodie is a haunting snapshot of a boom and bust economy, and how quickly fortunes can disappear. It's the real Wild West, frozen in time. Ready for something even stranger? Let's go underwater. Beneath Lake Mead in Nevada lies the ghost town of St. Thomas. Founded in 1865, it was a peaceful farming community, until the Hoover Dam project changed everything. The dam created Lake Mead, and St. Thomas was doomed to be flooded. Residents watched the water rise, abandoned their homes, and the last man left by boat as the lake swallowed the town. For decades, St. Thomas was hidden underwater, visited only by scuba divers, but drought has changed the story. As Lake Mead receded, the ruins of St. Thomas re-emerged. Now you can walk among the foundations and old roads, a ghostly landscape exposed after nearly a century underwater. St. Thomas is a powerful symbol of how human engineering can erase entire communities and how nature sometimes brings them back. It's a warning about water scarcity and the cost of progress. The past isn't always buried forever. Next, we're heading to the wilds of Alaska. Deep in Alaska's wilderness sits Kennecott, a city built for copper mining. In 1900, prospectors found a massive copper deposit. Investors poured millions into building a self-contained city, mills, homes, even a hospital. They constructed a 14-story mill and a 200-mile railroad through mountains, all for copper. For 25 years, Kennecott thrived, producing a fortune. But when the copper ran out, the company shut everything down overnight. Residents left almost everything behind, and the city was abandoned. Its remote location saved it from vandalism, preserving it as a time capsule. Today, Kennecott is a National Historic Landmark. You can tour the mill and see the machinery just as it was left. It's a monument to human ambition and how quickly it can all disappear. The boom always ends. Now let's see what happens when a town is erased for a terrifying reason. Times Beach, Missouri, was wiped off the map by one of the worst cases of chemical contamination in U.S. history. In the 1970s, the town sprayed its roads with oil to control dust, unaware it was mixed with deadly dioxin. For years, residents played and lived on poisoned soil until animals started dying and people got sick. In 1982, the EPA found dioxin levels over 100 times the safe limit. Then a flood spread the contamination everywhere. The government evacuated the entire town just before Christmas, buying out every home. Over the next decade, Times Beach was demolished and the soil incinerated. Today, nothing remains but a state park and a warning about the dangers of industrial pollution. Times Beach is a chilling lesson. One mistake can erase an entire community, but nature isn't the only force that can bury a city. Plymouth, capital of Montserrat in the Caribbean, was a tropical paradise, until the volcano erupted. In 1995, Soufriere Hills volcano came to life. At first it was just ash and earthquakes, but in 1997 a catastrophic eruption buried the city under 40 feet of ash and rock. The entire southern half of the island became uninhabitable. Plymouth was lost forever, a modern-day Pompeii. Only the tops of buildings peek above the hardened mud. Two-thirds of the island's people fled, and the economy collapsed. Today the exclusion zone is silent and off-limits, a stark reminder of nature's unstoppable power. Sometimes a city can vanish in a single day, but not all ghost towns are lost to disaster. Idaho once had its own Pripyat, a mining town, not a nuclear disaster but just as doomed. Built around a silver and lead mine, the town thrived only as long as the mine did. When the ore ran out, the company shut down and everyone left almost overnight. Nature quickly reclaimed the site. Today, only a few rotting timbers and rusted equipment remain. Pripyat, Idaho, is a ghost of a ghost town, a name on a map, erased by economic collapse. Sometimes, all it takes is a busted business to wipe out a community, but sometimes, it's a corporation that does the erasing. Valsetz, Oregon was a company town built for logging, owned entirely by the lumber company. For decades, it was a close-knit community, with everything from homes to schools provided by the company. But when the timber ran out and the economics changed, the company decided to shut it all down. In 1984, every resident was told to leave. Bulldozers demolished every building, even the railroad tracks. Today there's nothing left, no ruins, no signs, just forest. Valsetz is a chilling example of corporate power. A company can create a town and erase it just as easily. Sometimes a place disappears not by disaster, but by decision. But some towns are destroyed by what they leave behind. Peacher, Oklahoma, was once the world's largest lead and zinc producer, and is now America's most toxic ghost town. Decades of reckless mining left the ground unstable and mountains of toxic waste everywhere. Kids played on piles of poisonous chat, and the water turned orange with contamination. By the 1990s, a third of the children had dangerous lead levels in their blood. Sinkholes swallowed roads, and a tornado finished off what was left. The government paid everyone to leave, then demolished the town. Today, Peacher is a wasteland, empty slabs, crumbling roads, and toxic gray hills. It's a tragic monument to an industry that built a town, then poisoned it to death. Some places are lost forever, not to nature but to our own mistakes. That's it. 10 American cities that vanished. From fires and floods to toxic disasters and corporate erasure, these stories show how fragile our communities really are. They're not just ghost stories, they're warnings and lessons about resilience, risk, and the power of nature. By remembering these lost cities, we honor the people who lived there and the lessons they left behind. Which story shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for joining this wild journey. Smash that like button and subscribe for more forgotten places. See you in the next adventure.